Namaskar, this is CVR English and it's time to roll another episode of the Power Talk with me, Anukriti Sharma. It's like a recurring nightmare in India, a young woman raped in a mega city, a massive outpouring of anger and a political blame game to boot. You've seen it before in Delhi, you're seeing it again in Kolkata. A 31-year-old doctor was raped and murdered last week, that too at her medical college. The police have arrested one suspect. Multiple questions remain, like why wasn't the security better, why aren't medical colleges better funded, and why does our society keep failing its women? To demand these answers, women hit the streets many days ago. They protested well into the night. Such gatherings were seen in most major cities of India, in New Delhi, Mumbai and Kolkata, in Bangalore and in Hyderabad. As the Kolkata rape and murder incident continues to perplex the nation, Padma awardees Dr. Harsh Mahajan and Dr. A.K. Bhalla, along with 70 Padma awardees, have written to Prime Minister Modi concerning this matter. They have demanded Modi ji to show personal interest in this horrific incident and asked for strict punishment for the culprits. They further requested separate laws for protection of doctors and healthcare officials. Dr. A.K. Bhalla said, and I am quoting him here, "We condemn this incident and demand punishment against the perpetrators. We request Modi ji to make laws for the security of doctors and healthcare professionals." Take a look at this.
Padma awardees got together and have written to our Prime Minister Modi to actually take personal interest in this matter. What we have requested is that a new separate law for protection of doctors, healthcare professionals,
we strongly condemn the heinous crime against our colleague at Calcutta. We request Honorable Prime Minister to take decisive and immediate action against the perpetrators.
Padma awardees who've been honored by the government over the last few decades got together and have written to our Prime Minister Modi to actually take personal interest in this matter to see
The protests continue in India. Doctors are holding candlelight vigils, women's groups are marching on the streets, and our politicians are doing what they do best, turning a tragedy into a spectacle. We'll come to that in a while, but first, the latest updates. The protests began after the horrific incident in Kolkata last week. A 31-year-old doctor was raped and murdered, that too at her medical college. Since then, doctors have been protesting across India. They're demanding justice and safety. A few days ago, they striked off work. Doctors' largest body has announced a strike, the IMA or the Indian Medical Association. Now, the IMA has around 400,000 doctors across the nation, so we have been witnessing nationwide strikes. All non-essential services had been halted till Sunday morning. And so far, the pressure has been relentless. It's just mounting, both from the doctors and women's groups. They have been marching and protesting across major cities, and today, my friends, was no different. Some of these protests did not go well. I told you about that yesterday. The goons vandalized the college where this crime happened in Kolkata. They attacked the doctors and destroyed the emergency room. Kolkata police are hunting them down, and so far about 28 people have been arrested. And what about the murder investigation? Well, the CBI is handling that, the Central Bureau of Investigation, and they have many leads to follow. The victim's family says her colleagues may have been involved. Some interns and doctors at the college may have been involved. I'm sure that the CBI will follow that up. In fact, they have already summoned 5 doctors for questioning. Which brings us to the politics of this matter. A few days ago, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also organized a march. She herself walked at the front of it, and what did she want? Death penalty by next Sunday. Basically 1 week to probe, prosecute and convict. Now don't get us wrong, all of us want swift justice for that young woman, but let's not ignore the reality. No court can deliver such quick justice, not even the fast-track courts. So this is not about getting justice, this is about getting political mileage. And the other side is doing it too, whether it is spreading fake news about the incident or blaming people without evidence. Such selfish moves do not help anyone. They only make a bad situation worse. And this is a very bad situation. Think about it. A young doctor was raped and murdered inside a hospital. If a doctor is not safe inside a hospital, where are they safe? If a doctor is not safe inside a hospital, then who is safe? Just look at this report. Around 75% of Indian doctors have faced some sort of violence at work. That's 3 out of 4 doctors. How can we prevent this? The central government has issued a new directive. It puts the onus on the hospital head. Now imagine that you run a government hospital in India. A doctor has been attacked on your watch. Then you must file an FIR within 6 hours. The responsibility is not on the doctor who was attacked. It's not on the bystanders. The responsibility lies with the hospital head. It is a good move because right now a lot of such attacks go unreported. And so this new directive should help, but it's not enough. You can't just focus on redressal here. You must focus on prevention too. And in the meantime, the Union Health Ministry has assured a committee for doctor safety and is urging doctors to call off the strike. But now let's keep the political developments aside for a moment. Let's focus on the bigger questions. Let's focus on the bigger questions on today's episode of the Power Talk. And to discuss this matter, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss this matter in further detail, as promised, joining us today at CVR English Newsroom live, all the way from Switzerland, is former Executive Director of Sports Authority of India and Arjuna awardee Rachna Govilji. She has served as the chairperson of the Internal Committee of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace in the Sports Authority of India, and she has vast experience of working for promotion of sports in remote and tribal areas of India. Just a bit of context here for all our viewers. Rachna Govilji, a highly proactive social activist for women's rights, she has significantly contributed in developing a safe society for women by and large. She won the Arjuna Award, an award attached with the highest prestige for any sports person in the country. She won it in 2000. She has also been conferred with the prestigious Yash Bharati and the Lakshmi Bai Bravery Awards by the government of Uttar Pradesh in 2016. And not just that, I'm not done yet. Ma'am has also won the Best Woman Shooter Award in Northern India Shooting Championship in 1998. We welcome you, ma'am. Namaste, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am, am I audible to you? If I am audible, ma'am, let me know with a thumbs up. Is my voice audible to you, ma'am? Can we do a mic check with the team, with the PCR team? Can we try connecting the audio with ma'am? Can we have the technical team helping us connecting with the audio? Rachna Govil ma'am, can you hear my voice? Yes, ma'am, we can hear you now.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, please stay online with us. We are reconnecting you again to the CVR English newsroom. Please give me sound on the speaker. Rachna ma'am, we welcome you to the show. Can you hear my voice now?
I can hear your voice, yeah.
Oh, very well ma'am. We welcome you. नमस्कार, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है CVR इंग्लिश के न्यूज रूम में. CVR इंग्लिश के न्यूज रूम में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत मैम.
Thank you, thank you.
Ma'am, I want to jump right into the focus of my power talk with you. Women's safety in India. हमारे देश में महिलाएं कितनी सुरक्षित, सशक्त और महफूज हैं. Keeping the Kolkata rape murder backdrop in mind, the protests are going on in India. Doctors are holding candlelight vigils. Women's groups are marching on the streets. But are we turning a tragedy into a mere spectacle, ma'am? Do these protests actually help to address the root cause and uproot it? The root cause here being, how do we educate and sensitize the men of our country? Can educational reforms help in decreasing crime rates against women, ma'am?
Anukriti, I just want to say a bit that there's a lot of disturbance in hearing, but what I could understand is that you are asking whether the stir, nationwide stir that is going on is going to help us or not. Of course, in this hour of grief, we are with the family, the nation is with the family. But then, of course, I also would like to say that this is not enough. We will have to look into our own self, into our own house, into our homes, as to how the woman is being respected in that house. Every house, I think we'll have to look into it. I have observed that there is a boy and a girl, and there is a lot of discrimination. Even when the girl is a very small child, the girl is told to if the boy wants water, the girl will be told to go and give water to the brother. But it is never the other way around. Like the brother is never told to go and serve the food to the sister. So from day one, a boy, what is he experiencing? Another thing that happens in many families where the woman is beaten by the father, and this is what the child is seeing. He is seeing that every time it is the female which is suffering, and that is what, when this particular child goes out, steps out, he expects the same from the school. In the school also, he wants to suppress, and he feels that the girl has to be submissive, and he would always make all attempts to suppress the girl. Same thing further happens in the psychology, is that when he goes into for work, he again wants the woman colleague to be submissive. And I'm sure many of you must have experienced, and you must have heard many of these men saying, "Arey isko dekh lenge." Or if a woman is efficient, they will say कि इसको आता कुछ नहीं है, बनती बहुत है.
Right.
Or if she is nicely dressed up, smartly dressed up, they will say, अरे देखो ना क्या कपड़े पहन के आ गए. I mean, everything is commented, because from day one, this is what the boy has been experiencing. So I feel the education should start within the house itself. And next comes, of course, the school, where there should be lot of awareness programs. There should not be, they should not distinguish between boys and girls. Very often I've seen the teacher saying, लड़कियां आगे खड़ी होंगी और लड़के पीछे खड़े होंगे, which I feel is wrong. I think anybody, anywhere, they should stand, or maybe sometimes they are made to stand in a way. It's a very small example of which I am giving, but then that equality should be from day one. That's what the boy is going to see. So that education should go both for the boys and for the girls. It should not be like, okay, we educate the girls and we say awareness program for the girls, but there should be a lot of awareness programs for the males, for the boys too.
Ma'am, which brings me to my next question. Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'll manage.
Okay, ma'am, it brings me to my next question. I'm going to be as loud as possible as I can be with you. Now, these nationwide protests may have started due to the rape murder incident at the hospital. But now the main question arises, are women safe anywhere at work? And I'm speaking particularly in the context of India. Your thoughts on this, ma'am?
Well, I would not say that woman is safe either in India or anywhere in the world. Everywhere the situation is the same. There was a report given by the UN in 2020 by their Office on Drug and Crime, in which they came out with this report that every year 47,000 women are being killed by their very close intimate friend, or you can even say their boyfriends or their partner or their family members. So if you see, every 13 minutes a female homicide is taking place. So we can, and this is more in fact in the Asian region, and as compared to other countries, the Asian region ranks the first. The next, of course, comes Africa. But of course, as far as European countries are concerned, this is much less. In fact, you will be happy to know that there are countries like Belarus and Poland, where in fact there is a decline in female homicide. In fact, in these countries, in the Eastern Europe, it is about some decline of 47%. And in the Western Europe, it is about 13% or so. So there is a decline, but at the same time, of course, in India, it is not safe, and we need to educate both the boys and the girls, which is, it has to be regular programs need to take place.
Can we have ma'am on the screen, requesting the technical team to have ma'am back on the screen with us? Ma'am, are you still there with us?
Yeah, I'm there. One more point I would like to say is, from day one, a girl child should be brought up in a very bold manner. She should be taught to face the world. And I am, of course, thankful to my mother. I just quote a small example, which is a little different from this incident. But then my mother, in those days, I won the marathon in 85, and my mother brought me up in a very, very bold manner. I was criticized by the people in my society that she goes out with boys and she's loose character and so many things. But my mother was very bold, and she said, you have to be bold enough to face all these things and come out victorious. And in fact, in this marathon, the prize for the woman was less. It was only 10,000 rupees, and for men it was 50,000 rupees. So when the Honorable Prime Minister came to give the prize, I took this bold step. Of course, I was criticized by some of them that, why did you speak? But then I told that it is in the name of a woman. The marathon is in the name of a woman, and the woman, whereas is being given 10,000 rupees, and the men are getting 50,000 rupees. So the Honorable Prime Minister, the then Honorable Prime Minister, was he said, he was quite surprised, and he said, no, it has to be equal. So I think that boldness should be imbibed in every girl from day one.
I think the courage to be able to stand up, show up and speak up for oneself, that boldness, and this example that you just quoted back in the day, to have won such a prestigious award, and then to have the boldness to ask the Honorable Prime Minister this particular question, which could have so many potential ramifications and repercussions. That courage demonstrated by you is exemplary, ma'am, and I think millions of girls in our country can learn from such an example.
I'm not able to follow you. There is some disturbance in the voice.
I'm saying that this example of courage and boldness demonstrated by you is so exemplary that every girl should be able to learn from your example, ma'am.
Sorry, Anukriti, I'm not able to follow you. You are saying?
Ma'am, we are going to continue with this episode of Power Talk at 10 p.m. Viewers, I want to tell you all that at 10 p.m. we come back to the CVR English newsroom again, and we will carry on with part 2 of the Power Talk with Rachna Govilji, Arjuna Awardee, and understand more about the political and the social structure of India right now, which is concerned crimes against women. Until then, Jai Hind, Namaskar, keep watching CVR English.